Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 23 of the Prayer This Month Challenge. Today, I'm going to be teaching you as we look critically at the prayer life of Elijah, specifically the prayers that he did or performed that brought rain and stopped rain. Now, we usually read James 5, verse 17. Elijah was a man subject to like passions as we are, just meaning that he was a man just like you and I, an ordinary man. But he prayed earnestly, all right? And that earnestly would be he prayed diligently, continued, heartfelt, because that's the same text where they talk about, if the verses before talk about the effectual fervent, the heartfelt, continued prayer of a righteous man makes tremendous power available. And Elijah is the example. So it means that he prayed, the prayer he prayed was two things. It was heartfelt, earnest. That is, he was in the prayers. It was his emotions. It's like when you have a stake where you just fix your mind on something. It's like, this has to happen. And that's the mindset of prayer that achieves results. It says, like, you just lock it in there. Because another word we looked at in the study of words for prayer, I think it's either deomai or prosekuchumai or whatever. But it connotes binding yourself to the thing. In other words, you lock yourself to this request. This thing has to happen. And this is an important mindset when you are praying for something, that I want to see this thing happen. Because many people pray and they don't see results and they feel like, oh, prayer doesn't work. No. You study the Bible and you see what they did to get the results they got, and you apply those things and you get the same result, but you lock yourself into it. You are fixed on that request. And because you are fixed on it, it is continued, it is heartfelt. You are in the prayers, you are involved, and you are going to be there till you see results. So it's something that you can decide to continue every single day. Some people, you can pray all night, pray all day, pray till you see it happen. So it can either be in intervals or it can be straightforward, but you want to see that thing happen. That's the attitude we're talking about here. Now, you see, whenever you see in the Bible, you see like an example or a teaching like this, teaching in the New Testament, you want to ask the question, does this thing have roots in the Old Testament? You know why? Because many times what you see in the New Testament is codified language, meaning that it is a snippet. It's just a sneak peek to make a point, right? But the author, by quoting the Old Testament, expects that you take the journey. He expects that his audience has read the Old Testament or is reading the Old Testament. And by quoting that text, in his mind, he just quotes something. Because imagine, for example, you just want to quote something from Aristotle or any of these massive volumes. You just quote something. The idea is that your audience has read the Old Testament. So when you quote it, they get, okay, I heard that story. So the same thing for us believers. Whenever we see things like what we see here, which is James 5:17, and they refer to Elijah and the fact that he prayed, they are expecting that you make the journey to the book they are referring to. Because by the time James is writing their Bible, they don't have the Bible you have. They don't have your New Testament. They don't have your four Gospels. Their Bible is the Old Testament. They are teaching from the Old Testament. So they expect that you go there to get get the full gist of what they're saying. Without that, you can't really get everything you're supposed to get from the text. So, as good Bible students, we're going to travel down to the book of Kings, 1 Kings chapter 18. And from verse 41, now, it doesn't say much about how Elijah prayed for the rains to come. It just tells us he came, declared there shall be no rain, and disappeared. But it does tell us of how he prayed for the rains to come back. And it's important to note that the first time he comes and he just says it's not going to rain. In your head you think, oh yeah, Yep, that's what he did. He just declared. So I'll just go around declaring and I'll be seeing results. It doesn't work that way. James tells us that he prayed that it will not rain. So before he came and declared, he had already bettered it in the place of prayer. That is, this is what I want to happen. So he had already gone to the place of prayer. He had already prayed till he had that note of assurance that it is not going to rain. That is, he had already made sure. He had locked it. Do you get? And that's how we have to be. If you want to become the, let me use the word rainmaker or whatever, you want to become the rainmaker, water walker kind of person with God, that your words don't fall to the ground. You have to be a person of prayer. The thing you are going to come out and declare, you've already locked it in the place of prayer. And that's what he did, where he's already prayed. He has prayed and prayed and prayed until he is sure that rain will not fall. It could have taken him hours, it could have taken him days, but he was certain. Is after that he now comes out and says that unless at my word, it's only till I say so again that rain will fall. That's where the confidence comes from. Not that you just declare. No. Don't deceive yourself with positive confessions that have no power. You're just confessing. It doesn't work like that. If you want to, and this is where many believers just get discouraged. No, you will do the homework first before you start to declare. In fact, you should actually declare. When you've given yourself to praying about something, you've prayed and prayed, then you can start talking. Maybe one of these days we'll also go into a teaching on after praying. There's sometimes you pray, when you pray about something, pray. When that thing is done, there's usually a note of victory. Papa Hagin talks about it a lot, and I've experienced it myself. There's sometimes joy that just floods your heart, or peace, or both, right? Or it's a knowing, or sometimes a picture. God shows you a picture or a prophecy or something comes to indicate that that thing has been what? Settled, dealt with, in the place of prayer before you see it in the natural. So we're going to look closely at what he did for the rains to come back. Because it's one thing for you to do something and the rains to go away, but then what do you do when you want the rains to come back? Well, the answer is that you do what you did before. So we go to 1 Kings 18, verse 41. And Elijah said to Ahab, "Get you up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain." I laugh in 5 languages. This is after the contest with the prophets of Baal, where Elijah has said, "Oh, call on your God," and they called, nothing happened, and then Elijah now calls on the God of Israel, and then what happens? That fire comes down from the sky and consumes the sacrifice. So this is after that. And remember, there's been no rain for 3.5 years. And so he says to Ahab, he says, "Get you up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain." There's no rain anywhere. There's no rain anywhere. At the time he's saying this, there's no rain, zero rain. And if he just said this like we tend to do as believers, just, "Oh, don't worry, there's an abundance of fire." There's no rain anywhere. It's not going to happen unless he does what he did to make the rains go away, to control that weather. So what does he do? He says, "So Ahab went up to eat and drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel and cast himself down upon the earth and put his face between his knees." So it's interesting that he tells the king, an abundance of rain. He said, "Oh, you, go and eat and drink, And so the king goes to eat and drink to go and relax. Thank God. But the guy goes to pray. And when I saw this, as I was preparing for this video, and I saw this topic, it did something to me, because there are going to be many times where there are people, others will be benefactors of your prayers, where you will have to build capacity with God so that others will benefit. And when we say others, I'm talking about others who don't have the capacity to do the things that you can do in the place of prayer because you have the capacity. I'm talking about family members. I'm talking about loved ones, children, parents, friends. You get that? Sometimes it's that people are just genuinely weak. So you and I have to grow to build capacity to stand for other people. Sometimes, even as a pastor, you gotta know, this challenge that this person is about to face or is facing or has faced. You just know what to do is to pray, to labor in prayer. Say, don't worry, go, it is well. He said, you pray for the person, it is well, but you know what you are going back to do, to go and labor for that person. We have to learn that. He didn't tell Ahab, say, see, look now, now we're going to have to pray. He said, let's do prayer meeting. He didn't tell Ahab that one. He said, go, don't worry. Go. Yes, so we have to build capacity because there are things that others will not be able to handle that you, who has built the capacity, will be able to handle in the place of prayer. And the Bible says, of course, look at this. It wasn't a joke when he went up there. Because when he says, oh, don't worry, rain is going to fall. You know that if rain does not fall, his head is going to roll. He says, and he cast himself down upon the earth and put his face between his knees. So most likely this was a kneeling position. Just knelt and buried his head between his knees. And, James tells us that this is prayer. He's praying here. They don't write exactly how he prayed here, but James tells us that he was praying. He says to his servants, go up now, look forward towards the sea. And he went up and looked again, and he saw nothing. And he said, go again 7 times. And it came to pass upon the 7th time that he said, behold, there arise a cloud out of the sea like a man's hand. So now watch this. The 7 times he sends his servant, go and check. He prays, so he prays, go and check, nothing, comes back, prays again, go and check, no. What does that tell you? He stays because he knows that the problem is not that the prayer is not working, but that he needs to finish birthing what he wants to see. So he doesn't give up, he doesn't quit, he keeps praying until. Notice, he keeps praying until. That's why we tend to lose a lot of battles. We stop praying when we have not seen the result. You keep praying until you see the result. Until. And he said, there arise a cloud out of the sea like a man's hand. And he said, go up, say to Ahab, prepare your chariot and get you down, that the rain stops you not. So, you see, he kept on praying till he saw something that was like a sign. Do you get like a sign, like something to indicate that, okay, the prayer has been answered. In this case, it was a cloud, all right? But you can see it as, in a sense, like a sign. He was looking for a sign, something. And that's why I said before that as you pray about something, usually there will be an indicator that the prayer points you prayed are working. I'm talking when I'm praying about situations or things in people's lives. Are you with me? Different things, all right? Because there are different types of prayer, different durations of prayer and all that. But generally, if you're praying about certain things, that's how you get that note of victory. So it's important for us to know that there are lessons to learn here. There's the persistence, there's the way the prayers are heartfelt, there's the sacrifice, right? There's the consistency, there's the fixed nature of your request to see your prayers come to pass. So I hope you learned or took something from here. This really blessed me, and I thought to bless you too this morning, okay? And don't forget, by 6 p.m., we're going to be praying live. So you want to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you get the notification once we go live, all right? And on the 28th, we're meeting in Lagos to pray together and have a supernatural time in God's presence. We are calling it Answered Prayers. It's going to be an amazing time with God. You don't want to miss it. You want to invite your friends and family. It's on the 28th. All right. You can follow us at WEARAYEN on Instagram, where we keep updates for the venue and other things. Guys, see you at 6 p.m. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.